iPhone, 2007. The very first iPhone introduced the idea of a phone with almost no physical buttons, controlled instead by a multi-touch screen. It combined a phone, an iPod, and an internet browser into a single device, which felt unusual at the time since most phones relied on keypads or small styluses. Apple sold it exclusively through AT&T in the United States, and its 3.5-inch screen was considered large for a phone back then. iPhone 3G, 2008. This model kept the same design language but added support for faster 3G networks, making web browsing and data use noticeably quicker. It also introduced the App Store, which changed how people used their phones by allowing outside developers to build and sell software directly to users. The plastic back replaced the original metal casing, giving it a slightly different feel in the hand. iPhone 3GS, 2009. The letter S stood for speed, and that was the main focus of this update. It ran faster, took better photos, and added voice control features that were fairly basic by today's standards but new at the time. It also introduced video recording, which had been missing from earlier models. iPhone 4, 2010. This version brought a major redesign, replacing the rounded plastic shell with a flat glass and stainless steel frame. It introduced the Retina display, a screen sharp enough that individual pixels became difficult to see. The front-facing camera also debuted here, enabling video calls through a new feature called FaceTime. iPhone 4S, 2011. Alongside a faster processor and improved camera, this model introduced Siri, Apple's voice assistant. Users could ask questions or give commands simply by speaking, which was a novel idea for a mainstream phone. It kept the same design as its predecessor, but focused on internal improvements. iPhone 5, 2012. Apple stretched the screen taller for this release, moving to a 4-inch display to allow more content per screen without making the phone significantly wider. It also switched to a smaller charging connector called Lightning, replacing the older 30-pin dock connector used since the original iPod. iPhone 5C, 2013. This model stood out for its colorful plastic casing aimed at buyers who wanted a lower-cost option without giving up modern features. Internally, it was similar to the iPhone 5, but the design made it feel more playful and distinct on store shelves. iPhone 5S, 2013. Released alongside the 5C, this model introduced Touch ID, allowing users to unlock their phone with a fingerprint instead of typing a passcode. It also brought a 64-bit processor, a shift that pushed mobile chip performance forward significantly. iPhone 6 and 6 Plus, 2014. For the first time, Apple offered two screen sizes at once, giving buyers a choice between a standard and a larger display. The design also grew slightly thinner and introduced rounded edges, moving away from the flat sides of previous years. iPhone 6S and 6S Plus, 2015. These models introduced 3D Touch, a pressure-sensitive screen feature that let users access shortcuts by pressing harder on icons. The camera resolution also increased, and the aluminum body was reinforced to reduce bending issues reported with the previous generation. iPhone SE, first generation, 2016. Aimed at users who preferred smaller phones, this model reused the compact design of the iPhone 5 but placed newer internal hardware inside. It offered a budget-friendly way to get current performance without adopting a larger screen size. iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, 2016. This generation removed the traditional headphone jack, pushing users towards wireless earbuds or adapters. It also introduced water resistance and, for the Plus model, a dual camera system that allowed optical zoom and portrait-style photos. iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, 2017. These models returned to a glass back, mainly to support wireless charging, which was included for the first time. Performance improved steadily, though visually the design remained close to previous generations. iPhone X, 2017. Marking the 10th anniversary of the iPhone, this model removed the home button entirely and introduced Face ID, which used facial recognition to unlock the device. The screen extended almost to the edges, with a notch at the top housing the front camera and sensors. iPhone XS and XS Max, 2018. Building on the X, these models refined the camera system and introduced a larger Max option, catering to users who wanted bigger displays without giving up the edge-to-edge design.
iPhone XR 2018.
This model offered a more affordable alternative to the XS, using a single rear camera instead of two, while still including Face ID and the newer design language, making advanced features accessible at a lower price point. iPhone 11 series, 2019. Apple expanded the camera system further, adding an ultra-wide lens to certain models, allowing users to capture more of a scene without stepping back. Night mode debuted as well, improving low-light photography significantly. iPhone 12 series, 2020. This generation introduced 5G connectivity and returned to a flat-edge design reminiscent of the iPhone 4. It also launched the Mini model, offering a smaller alternative for users who found other phones too large. iPhone 13 series, 2021. Battery life improved noticeably, and the camera systems were refined further, especially in low-light conditions. The notch at the top of the screen also became smaller, giving slightly more room for content. iPhone 14 series, 2022. This lineup introduced Dynamic Island in place of the notch, turning the sensor housing into an interactive area that displayed notifications and activity. The Pro models also added an always-on display for the first time. iPhone 15 series, 2023. Apple replaced the Lightning connector with USB-C, aligning with a broader industry shift and European regulations. The Pro models introduced a titanium frame, making them lighter while maintaining durability. iPhone 16 series, 2024. This generation focused heavily on artificial intelligence features integrated directly into the software, alongside camera and battery improvements. A new camera control button gave users a dedicated way to adjust photographic settings without touching the screen.